Hello and welcome to Diamonds and Duds. I am Ivan.
And I am Charles.
And today we have a special one. We have the Toxic Avenger from 2023. We'll kind of list it that way because it's kind of a remake.
And this one was recommended to us.
This was recommended to us by a buddy of mine. He knows he knows that we do this podcast, and he highly recommended us to watch the Toxic Avenger here in 2023. I didn't know if it was going in. I didn't know if it was because it was a horrible movie that was just a trash fire, because those have been Craven the Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so interesting thing, this movie technically has 2 release years.
Oh, really?
So this thing, it was ready to put out in 2023. It did not actually see the light of day until 2025. The reason is because no one was willing to distribute this movie. And this is a big, no one was willing to distribute it. They felt it was, and it's important to note, they did not make any, to my knowledge, they did not make any cuts in order to get distribution. Basically, it was felt that this was the most, they felt it was way too graphic, way too, they said it was way too disgusting, way too graphic to ever be on screens for people to see. They, from what I understand, the makers, the director, Macon Blair, I think they held to their guns, and it eventually got a smaller release. But so technically it does have 2 release years because it was ready to rock in 2023, but it didn't actually see the light of day until 2025.
No, and a few other crazy things about this, Charles. I texted JC about this afterwards, and he was this part I'm about to mention to you. I don't know if you're going to know. He was completely baffled as well. The guy who, Macon Blair, wrote the script and directed this, Charles.
Okay.
This is pretty much the only thing he's done.
Oh, wow. That's impressive.
He's an actor who's like a guy who's like a background actor.
Okay, like an extra kind of thing.
In a lot of stuff. Like Reservation Dogs I've heard of, I haven't seen, but he was in 3 episodes of that. And he's directed 5 things before.
Oh, wow.
The reason I mention that, I don't want to spoil much, this movie is amazing.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you right now.
And when I told Jay, because the crazy thing, Charles, too, is that this is all and his next movie he has a cast that's this good in it, too. Yeah. That comes out this year.
Yeah.
And it's like...
And on a note, on the gore front, because I had heard kind of about the controversy as it was happening. I knew that there was controversy, that it was just supposed to be it was like the studios had framed it as, this is so shocking. Like, if you show this in theaters, people will die. Well, is it gory? Yes. Have I seen many movies that are actually gorier? Yes. And a lot of this, the gore is like, and let's get into it's funny. It's also it's cartoonish.
Am I crazy? I might be completely crazy, and I know I am sometimes. Was there like a warning before the movie?
I think so. There was some kind of
It was something.
The gore is cartoonish.
This isn't like you're watching someone. And granted, it's in rated R, NC-17 kind of horror. Yeah. But this isn't like where it's trying to scare you and ruin your next 3 weeks.
No,
and it's nothing like that.
You can find a lot of different movies in the torture porn genre, Hostel, that have way more disgusting stuff than this. And I'm not knocking that genre.
No.
I just think it was bullshit that it had this much trouble getting released. Main stars, we had... so first I'll write you can tell me the stars, but first I will go over the thing. A janitor becomes a social outcast when a freak accident at a chemical factory turns him into a mutant. However, he uses his newfound superhuman strength to battle criminals. The Toxic Avenger.
And this was something that on Rotten Tomatoes got an 86%.
Yeah.
And realistically, everything was so glowing on the, like from a film critic standpoint. It was because what I try and do is find a funny one, for us. But bluntly, like everything was so because I think most people who watch this movie kind of go into it going, okay, I guess I'll watch it. But then you kind of come out of it going, oh wow, kind of thing.
There's a couple known actors in this. Peter Dinklage is our main star. We also get Kevin Bacon and Elijah Wood. And Elijah Wood, I really, really liked his look in this movie.
It was so great.
Yeah. Now, again, I know a little bit about. I know that there was like an '80s or I don't know if it's '70s or '80s. I know there was a couple of sequels. I know there might have been an animated show at one point. And so, but beyond, and I know basically
there was because when I'm saying there was the original Toxic Avenger came out in '84. The sequel came out in '89. The other sequel came out also in '89, which is a little odd.
Where
there was a video game in '92, and then Toxic Avenger 4 came out 11 years later in 2000. And what's crazy is that the guy who wrote the original Toxic Avenger was uncredited for everything else until this.
Oh, wow.
And this is the part that I thought was kind of cool, is that he hasn't really done much else since then. Yeah. The last major thing he was on was in 2000 as a camera person for Coyote Ugly.
Oh, wow. That's a different genre.
Yeah, and one of the other, because that was Joe Ritter. The other writer, Lloyd, he's credited on what do you call it, on IMDb as a writer. I think he's kind of credited as a writer for this. I want to say he was one of the two were actually in this.
Oh, okay.
As like someone at the end, but It's like I thought it was crazy that like neither one, especially the person who wrote the original, because it's like they didn't really do much else.
Yeah. But, and so, when you go into this movie, one thing you need to not expect. You need to not expect... This is not a fucking horror movie. Okay? This is also, like... This is not a serious movie.
No.
This is a fucking comedy. This is a fucking satire. And so, this is like... This movie is fucking... I laughed... There's some parts of this that I laughed at harder than I've laughed at a long time. And it's not unintentional. This movie is designed...
Yes.
It does not take itself seriously. And it shows you that right away from the opening of the movie with Peter Dinklage's opening voiceover, which is just great. Which like this is certainly not a heroic voiceover or whatever whatever he says.
Yeah, and because the movie opens with a reporter who's investigating some toxic waste that's affecting the town.
Yeah.
I was never really clear on whether it was an assistant of his or someone he was working with.
She was basically she was the one who had fed him information.
Okay.
Did you notice? I rewound it a couple times to make sure that I got it. They showed like some of his like awards and stuff on the wall.
Huh.
He got the reward. He was runner-up for the very good investigative journalism award. Runner-up. I thought that was just funny. Sets the tone for what the movie's going to be.
It absolutely does. Now, are we saying this is a horror movie? No. Are we saying that like your 10-year-olds would watch it?
Yeah, no.
No. It's incredibly gross, but like not off-putting. So
no.
Like, so basically, I'll say a gang in quotation marks goes to attack the reporter.
Yeah, and they all like looked at like there's one that has like at first in the dark I thought it was a Spartan helmet. In the end we learned it's a chicken. We learned like it's like a chicken. It's a chicken mask, and there's different weird There's like an eclectic amount. And considering the movie is a Toxic Avenger, you shouldn't be surprised that like there's some things that look like they've undergone some mutations and stuff like that.
Exactly. And so basically they're tasked with killing the reporter. They kill the reporter in kind of a funny, grotesque, nothing crazy, because I think they're waiting to set the expectation for when the Toxic Avenger.
And just the stuff that they again, I was cracking up laughing at the stuff they were doing to this investigator reporter, and he still was alive. Like they were pumping him full of shotgun blasts, and he's just like, and he's like, this and that. They fucking fire a trident harpoon at him, which was great. And he just takes.
And I should have realized it during the Peter Dinklage monologue. Yeah. The trident being shot out of a gun was the point. I'm like, okay, it's this kind of movie.
Yeah, it was just a great, especially when you learn later on in the movie when this band's talking to, I think, Elijah Wood. They were supposed to make it look like an accident. It was not supposed to look like a murder at all, and they just went straight to planned murder. Like, they opened up by starting to blow him away at guns and stuff. And you can, like, Elijah Wood, when he talks to them later in the movie, he's just exasperated with these guys. Like,
and what's great is I think there's supposed to be a take on what was the band that also wrestled that had face paint.
Oh, what do you mean, like Guar?
No, the rapping.
Oh, Insane Clown Posse.
I think,
probably.
Not a direct representation, but I think they're kind of meant to be kind of a homage, let's say, in quotations, kind of thing. Because, like you said, we'll get to this person. I had a different. Because I think as you watch this movie, every person's going to have their favorite member of the band.
Yeah.
My favorite member of the band was the guy who flipped.
Yeah.
He just there's one point where the entire band's in like the second story, and he goes to Elijah Wood and he's like, "Are we going to parkour?"
Yeah.
Elijah Wood's like, "No, just use the stairs."
Yeah.
It's like, God, I got to stop flipping.
Yeah. I remember that.
And so this is that kind of movie.
Yeah. So we find out, okay, so we have the main kind of aspect of this movie is the BTH. They're a health and wellness company led by Kevin Bacon. And I'm just going to do a public service disclaimer. If you are listening to this podcast, and if you're an employee in the insurance world, and you believe that insurance companies are noble and care about, like, the consumers and stuff like that, I'm just going to tell you right now, this movie's not for you, because this entire movie is a big middle finger to the corporate greed of insurance companies, and it's not fucking subtle with its message.
No. The one thing that we can clearly say with no other way, this movie is not subtle at all.
No. So Peter Dinklage, basically, his wife has died. His wife had a son, so he's raising his stepson. He is a very fucking awkward parent.
Oh, God,
he's not a bad parent. He's fucking awkward, and it's like it plays off really well. Not just like it's an awkward situation, filling out with stepson, no regular parent, but just it plays off really funny. But it shows up. He's kind of scared to like do something because there's like a person who's like buying up. We learned later from Kevin Bacon. And then I recognized the guy that was like doing the buying up very faintly too. Like the suit guy that was trying to get the old lady to sign.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I think he was. I recognized him from something a long time ago, but I'm just not sure what. But like he's a little bit cowardly, but he does save the cat. And I'll tell you what. And I wrote in my notes because I'm a cat owner. I own to Peter Dinklage saved the cat. Okay, he rocks. Yeah. But BTH, the insurance, they are basically, doing they're dumping toxic waste. It's funny. They're not fucking hiding. They're not selling. No,
it's a giant lake behind. It's just a giant lake in town. They're like, hey, fuck you guys. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do about it. It's killing all you guys anyway. So.
And so, like, Peter Dinklage's stepson, he's like a performer at school, but he's like got like stage fright and stuff. Peter Dinklage, he's a janitor for the insurance company.
Yeah, he's a janitor for the insurance company. So he naively assumed then, based on that his insurance would be pretty good because he works for the insurance company. He has a doctor's appointment and he finds out. What does he find out, Charles?
Oh, so first off, we get in the scene. we get the unsung hero of the movie. Sometimes, not all heroes wear capes. Not all heroes sport, flesh melting mops. Some heroes have 2 scenes in a movie and steal the entire fucking movie because they're awesome. And I'm referring to the Doctor.
Okay.
The Doctor in the scene is so fucking funny. It's because he's been having headaches, and so he puts up, the thing in the head, and it's this is an X-ray of the head, and Peter Dinklage's like, oh, is that it? It's like, oh no, that's just for reference. He puts a thing up. There's obviously
he puts up a completely fucked up brain scan.
He's like, no, it's ghastly. He's like, look, it's ghastly, and I love how so he has a.
And when you watch this, or if you stop and pause and watch, if you get to that point it's not your audio.
No.
It's the director throws it in there for some fucking reason.
I think the idea is it's like, one, it's a funny joke, his brain's so something fucking wrong with his brain, but he didn't want to give an actual ailment because they wanted they wanted flexibility in terms of the fact that the radiation could
I see. Okay.
But also it could have just been the director found it fucking funny that we don't know, we never learn what it is, because every time it's mentioned we get random weird car noises and stuff in the background, so we never learn what exactly. But essentially, basically, he's got a brain tumor that's killing him. He's gonna die in a couple months.
Basically, in his brain, he has super cancer. Is basically what it is.
But we haven't even gotten to the funniest part of the scene, because he basically tells Peter Dinklage, you're fucked. You're gonna die in
practically in those exact words.
You're gonna die in a couple. You're gonna die in a couple months. And Peter Dinklage is depressive on it. It's like, is there there's not anything we can do? He's like, oh yeah, there's a drug treatment that'll cure it. Your insurance will probably cover it. I probably should have led with that. Which was just, and the Doctor's great.
The Doctor's great, but also in comparison to, nothing against the prior movie we did also, but the directing and the script in knowing how to set that up is so well done, where the last movie we did did not do that.
Yeah. And so we next get a conversation, an insurance conversation that I and a lot of people will feel just in their soul when he's trying to find out if he's being covered, which again, I cannot say enough good things about Peter Dinklage in this movie.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. He's trying to find out if he's covered, and the person's telling him on the phone, oh no, Peter Dinklage is I have the platinum plan. Do I have? It's oh no, it's covered. The platinum plan doesn't cover anything that's under the gold plan and before. And basically it's rather just convoluted as shit. How complicated insurance makes things. And Peter Dinklage, you can hear the tears in his voice.
But because he's but. Isn't my plan? Doesn't he mention something like, isn't my plan the top plan you have?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yes. It just doesn't cover anything else that's covered under the other stuff.
Exactly. Yes. And he's just this conversation is breaking him. And it's just great. I'm oh. And then we get introduced to Elijah Wood, and when he's talking to the band, he looks so ghastly in this movie.
He looks. Because Elijah Wood obviously picks his characters he picks his roles pretty carefully at this point.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate that. And this is such a great role, and he just dives into it so well.
Yeah, and one thing I'll say about Elijah Wood, I've always been a fan. I mean, outside of a couple of his movies when he was younger, North is one of the worst movies ever. But I loved him as an actor. I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, but what I love the fact that he has intentionally stayed away from most mainstream franchises and roles ever since Lord of the Rings. And I'm not saying he wouldn't have been he wouldn't have been a leading man.
No, but he very easily could have been one of the Marvel characters with that somewhere.
Yeah, he likes to do his own thing. He likes weird, quirky movies. and he's made a living off that. Although, funny thing though, because he is constantly, despite there being a multi-decade age gap, Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter, who is also, his post-Harry Potter career has been great. He kind of similar path. Yeah. He does his own thing too.
Yeah, because he can afford to not have to take much crap.
He does not have any interest in ever doing a franchise. But despite there being like 25 years difference between the two, they get mistaken for each other all the time. So much so that he's talked about really, like, it's like, oh, would you ever do a movie? It's like, if we ever do a movie, Elijah Wood said, I'm only saying yes if a key point in the movie is mistaken identity, because they both, it's in the thousands that they've each been mistaken for the other, despite a quarter century age gap between the two. Because Elijah Wood's like 50s.
Oh,
he's
yeah,
like 50 now. But funny. But yeah, Elijah Wood looks gassy, and we get Kevin Bacon, the head of the. I do like the fact that the head of the insurance company owes money to a mob boss.
Yeah. Funny. I thought that was rather funny because
yeah, and we like the Killer Squad is actually like the nut band that they had mentioned a couple of times is like the local band, like yeah.
Well, and also kind of makes a. Why do you have them? Because Kevin Bacon's like exasperated with his brother. He's like, he has no idea why they're using like that band to kill people.
Yeah, and the funny, when you watch, really listen to the words in some of the songs that this band does. Because after this, they go to the kid's performance where he's going to perform at basically it's tryouts to perform in this event, and he totally fucking freezes. But before he goes on, they have like the previous act that's going, and they're playing. It's one of the Nuts songs, and the lyrics are just like, and the teachers and stuff like that, they're all in. But this is like the lyrics are the kind of shit that would get you expelled and like get you not allowed to be within like 500 feet of a school. Because, like, it's like the lyrics are just vile and disgusting, and it is so funny.
Yeah, and sorry, I'm still here. I was, you mentioned that, and I'm gonna have to keep looking this up and maybe mention on a future episode. I was looking up to see if they put those songs on Spotify.
Yeah, that'd be funny. Spotify. I don't know if Spotify is your own content rules or not. I don't use it, but. But yeah, so that's funny. So basically, so Peter Dinklage is fucked. He's gonna die soon. He looks at his bank statement, which is funny. It's negative like 1,000.
Yeah,
negative like 1,000.
I thought it was funny that like his bank keeps charging him overdraft fees, even though he's not trying to draft from it.
Yeah. And also, it says out there, destitute.
Yes. And I've mentioned numerous times over the course of this podcast where it's important for movies to have one person assigned on set to like say, to make sure they don't do anything like stupid or like the make sense guy or a girl or whatever. This movie has that in spades.
Yeah.
Like everything is so well thought out. And like as an example, Charles mentioning at the beginning of the movie where the reporter, like they go, how many movies would go into such detail that they individually detail the reporters' awards that like they're not going to mention, they're not going to talk about.
Yeah. And it's just, and they're well-crafted jokes.
Yes.
So Peter Dinklage, he's going to go straight to the source. There's a big, like, kind of fundraiser, fancy, dinner, and he's going to show up, and he's going to ask the head of the company that he works for, Kevin Bacon. He's going to try to tell him his plight and ask him for help.
Because logically, it's like, hey, I'm going to die. I've put a lot into your company.
Yeah.
Can we work something out?
Yeah, and then he arrives, and before he even gets to Kevin Bacon, first he arrives, and there's a guard. That guard goes from 0 to 100. Like he's ready to fucking kill Peter Dinklage like instantly. It's like he's like, oh okay. But it's a really funny moment.
Yeah, it's really funny. He goes up to Peter. He goes up to finds his way to Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon. They kind of talk it through. Bacon basically has a bunch of PR and some of his people that kind of give him money and stuff like that at his table. So he kind of plays off that he's going to help Dinklage, and he tells his assistant to take him over into the other room and start helping him out. I'll be there in a second.
Yeah. And so he hears them. They make fun. They're making fun of him. The answer's no. I'm like, not sure what
the part I find funny is that Kevin Bacon's like, okay, I need you to fire him.
Yeah.
Then I need you to rehire him. Then he needs you to fucking fire him again.
So Peter Dinklage decides he's going to do something stupid. He goes. He has a little mask on, and he's wearing a tutu from trying to,
cheer up his son.
Earlier. He gets a mop from that becomes toxic, has toxic waste on it, and so he robs a bank with a toxic mop.
Yes, robs a bank with a toxic mop, and as he's I forget, because he basically gets away with it, right?
Well, gets away with
from the bank. I know how.
Yeah, he gets to the bank, and meanwhile, at the same time, the lady from the beginning that was, trying to, getting dirt on the company, they get an alert that, she's at the.
They get an alert that she's around. Don't they send the nut band after him again?
Yeah, and, one of Elijah Wood's great lines: "Summon the nuts." And then Elijah Wood goes with Elijah Wood has already chastised them for not exactly being subtle when they're supposed to make the investigative reporter's death look like an accident, and Elijah Wood literally just has told them, chastise them for not going in guns blazing, not causing a scene, and so they get there and they see Peter Dinklage holding his mouth. Peter Dinklage starts to talk, and they immediately fucking shoot him in the head.
Which I find funny. Now, Charles, I just thought of something that your brother's probably going to do at some point. I'm going to look up if there's a shirt called Summon the Nuts.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
If not, you can... There's people, let's just say, borrow stuff on Amazon quite frequently.
And basically, they dump his body into...
toxic waste.
Yeah. And so the transformation sequence is psychedelic. It's fun.
Oh, it's crazy fun.
You can tell by design they spent about $2.
Yes, but also intentional.
Oh yeah, intentional. This is this is intentional. It's really.
And we haven't seen the original. My assumption is it's a couple things like this are meant to be homages to the original. I would assume.
And so he turns into the toxic. As Avenger, and soon after he finds himself kind of out in the woods with a weird hermit who has the rant of the fucking century.
Oh God, yes he does. A bum finds him, has a mop. Yeah. Bum has the mop, and just basically, Peter Dinklage, the Toxic Avenger, had gone off into the woods and kind of passed out or something.
Yeah, because he tried to go to his son who was freaked out because a monster, and then this bum who he's clearly crazy, but he's going on this rant. This whole thing is supposed to be a send up of the bum, the homeless guy, crazy homeless guy, being the superhero mentor.
Yeah, so it's meant to kind of be the Marvel thing where it's hey, they find the former superhero that's going to help them, kind of.
Yeah, and the bum tells him, that he's a doctor, and so and then there's a training montage. It's by design the worst, by intention the worst fucking training montage that movies I've ever seen.
Oh, it's so good how they tailor all this, because part of it's Peter Dinklage isn't quite sure what he is, and he's kind of grotesqued out by what he is. Yeah.
And so, and just for context, this goes back to the original point of the would-be distributors freaking their shit out about the gore. This movie is a tight, about roughly before credits, about 90 minutes flat. There's a lot of credits, a lot of effects in this movie, but we're at this point, we are deep into this movie because they do a lot of stuff. We actually see a lot more Peter Dinklage as Peter, like, without the makeup than I ever expected. We're well past the halfway point. We might be coming close to an hour at this point. And this entire point up to it, there hasn't
really been much.
No.
But also, go on.
Yeah, no, go on.
But I think part of what this movie realizes is that for the stuff we're going to talk about in a second, you need to have the appropriate build-up. Yeah. You need to care about Peter Dinklage's character enough to kind of care what he's doing. Yeah. But also, they realize that 2 hours straight of this isn't going to work.
Yeah, and so the gore gets upped from 0 to 10,000.
Yeah.
When Toxic Avenger goes to work, and which I think, frankly, it feels like, again, they're satirizing, violence in movies and stuff like that by, like, the toxic mop, like, he puts it in someone's face, and, like, the face, like, melts and explodes.
Is that the part where, like, there's the
hostages?
Yeah, because there's, like, a hostage situation at some sort of, like, fast food sit-down place or something.
Yeah, he's fighting all of them. He puts his, like... at one point, he pulls down the pants of a guy and puts his arm it goes all the way up to his elbow into the person's ass.
Oh yeah, because I put that as that was my weird moment of the movie when he shoves the toxic mop straight into the guy's asshole.
Yeah, and so just another funny note of things that are interior small characters just getting funny moments as well. Obviously, it's a hostage situation, so there's all kind of cops on the outside. Like, one of the cops, is ready to go nuclear because, like, when once the fighting starts, all the hostages running outside. That cop's ready to gun down. He starts shooting at all the hostages. I don't think he hits any, but the cop's going nuclear for no reason.
Yeah.
And so, that's a setup. So, yeah, he's kind of starting to become a hero, the hamburger hero. And so, now, the mob boss is like, yeah, I want him dead or alive, talking on the phone.
Oh, yes.
You know what? Never mind. Just dead.
And the part, did you realize the other part of this scene? Because we find out that the one of the parts we kind of skipped over slightly was that at the beginning when he first became the Toxic Avenger, that the cat lady is getting her restaurant taken away by this. We find out later is a mobster. He rips the guy's fucking arm off.
Yes.
Okay. And we find out during this phone scene is that guy is the mobster's son.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Did you catch what they did?
They put his arm on. They put him on wrong.
Yeah, they put his arm on backwards.
Yeah, they put it on backwards. Yeah,
but they don't even. This is my kind of humor because it's just the main purpose of the scene is the mobster talking to Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
But in the background, it's like the guy who had his arm ripped off that's got put back on. He's like, "Can't we just try again?" No.
The doctors are exasperated. No. He's it's clearly backwards.
He basically, guys. It'd be like if the inside of your hand was the other way.
Yeah,
literally, they just sewed it back on backwards.
Yeah, it's a funny background gig, and so basically, and at this point, he reunites with the lady who's been, the investigator, and they kind of. Basically, so these are the bad guys. They're gonna take it. She goes to his stepson to try to save him because he knows Elijah Wood's gonna be sending people to kidnap him to draw the Toxic Avenger.
The Toxic Avenger out because Kevin Bacon and stuff realizes. Yeah, and I also appreciate this how they don't spend the whole the entire movie having Kevin Bacon figure out who it is. It's Peter Dinklage. But it's basically the lady, Peter Dinklage, and the son kind of get away initially.
Yeah.
And then this is the part where I thought was funny is do we do parkour? No, just use the stairs.
Yeah.
I gotta stop flipping. Because one of the people in the gang, literally every time you see him, he does a flip.
Yeah. And during this, basically, the girl gets shot badly.
Oh yeah.
Son gets kidnapped, and so what does Peter Dinklage do? He's going to take him to the doctor he knows.
Yeah, okay, he's going to take him to the doctor he knows. The guy, the bum or whatever from the woods. That's why they mentioned to you earlier that he was a doctor. Setting it up. A good movie will do this.
Yeah. So he's like, the bum's like, who told you I was a doctor?
Yeah. He's like, why'd you bring him here? Because you said you were a doctor. Who said I was a doctor?
You.
You did.
Well, in my medical opinion, she's dead. She's very much alive.
She's like kind of moving.
Yeah. And so he heals it. We've seen that his blood has healing properties.
Yeah, because it's healed him, and it's also when he gets shot, you see the bullets come out of him.
And so he puts a little bit of the blood in her, and she does heal up.
Yeah.
And so they now go for the band's playing at a festival.
Yes.
That has like 70 people there.
Yeah, it's like 70 people. Which I also found how insanely profane they are.
Oh, yeah.
And like there's like little kids and stuff in the crowd.
That's great.
Yeah. There's like a lady with her baby.
Yeah. Peter Dinklage comes to the crowd. He's fucking singing, which is great. And one thing I love about this is often, these types of movies, you get the big extended fight scene where it's like really Peter Dinklage just fucking lays waste to this band.
Oh, yeah.
The whole band is dead in like a minute, which is great.
Now, and so then one of the band members runs off. The chicken head guy runs off, and then both the lady and him catch up with him.
Yeah.
They take the chicken head off. And it's a little baby head.
Yeah. Which I wrote, well, that mask removal was unexpected.
The thing I find, I don't know why I found this the funniest part of the scene, but I thought it was hilarious how the lady was getting sick.
Yeah.
she was about to vomit.
Yeah. And so now they're going to. By this point, we see Kevin Bacon. They've gotten. They're gonna go attack. They're gonna go to the compound where is that? And another funny scene. So like, there's a couple of guards, guarding with guns, and she's like, I got a plan. So she kind of hikes up her shirt a little bit, and she goes into the view, and the two guys look at her, and they get so excited they accidentally pull the trigger on their guns and instantly kill each other. And he's like, "Wow, great plan." And she's like, "That wasn't the plan."
Yeah, I had to rewind. That was one part I had to rewind to make sure I didn't miss something. Because, that was really funny.
But they capture. They get captured and they start taking Peter Dinklage's blood. Kevin Bacon, as well as his lady friend, both kind of use some. Kevin Bacon turns into like a goat cannibal.
Yeah, and they kept the doctors kept trying to like perfect it, and
and so like now like they're gonna go like kill the son, and we also see at this point like Elijah Wood's kind of have a crisis of confidence, like crisis of morality.
He's like, my family sucks.
He's like, I don't think we should kill the kid. We just let him go. We get one of the greatest lines in the movie. So like the stuff we get so she's like, all right, Peter, you gotta talk. You gotta really some of the and he fights with all his strength. He can't break free. He's like, wait, I gotta get my dick out. She's like, whoa.
You're not some pervert.
I swear it's nothing perverted. I just need to pee on my face. We had seen earlier in the movie, his blood is like, his piss is corrosive, and it like eats through like metal and stuff. And so like, he's like angling and pisses all over himself so that he can get the manacles off.
Here's the best part: is that they fucking show it. They show him getting his manacles. They don't just skip past it like other movies would.
Yeah.
You see Peter Dinklage on his back like wiggling, and then you see a stream of piss like hitting his face.
Yeah.
And then it shows the manacles getting off. Then it shows him going over to her and going, "Don't worry, I'll have better aim now."
Yeah. He's like, which is again a great scene. Basically, and then we get the final, the son gets saved. We get the final kind of fight between Peter Dinklage and Bacon Goat. What we see, what had saved the son, And, the day is won, all's well that ends well.
Yes, and I had no problem with the way that ended, because it had a little fight scene at the end. In the end, this movie also didn't try and go 2.5 hours. This was like an hour and 45-minute long movie. It was, and the part that I didn't look up until afterwards. Again, I mentioned it at the beginning of this that I was so baffled, and give him credit, is that this guy hasn't really directed anything, and there must be something there.
Yeah.
Because, like, for example, Charles, his next movie has Peter Dinklage in it too.
Oh, I guarantee they had a blast making this movie.
I'm not surprised, because looking at this guy's next movie, because his next movie, Charles, has a better cast than this one.
That's a good cast.
And not that this is a bad cast.
Yeah.
But like, it's also the kind of thing where it's coming out this year, so it would have been made a while ago.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. His next movie's called The Shitheads. And it, God, stop it, IMDb. And it stars like, what do you call it? James Franco's brother, David Franco,
Dave Franco,
Ice Cube's son.
Oh, Shea Jackson. We've covered a movie or two of his before.
And who knows if that thing's it. But I was like, but like seeing that this person hadn't really, and so this goes to the fact where as you're going through stuff, do what you do. Just because you haven't done something doesn't mean you can't do something. You know what I mean? Yeah. Nothing against the Russo, but also the Russo brothers proved with Electric State that there's openings for other people.
Yeah.
Because that movie and something like this shows that just put your work in and you keep going and give yourself a chance.
But the movie doesn't end without one more gem of a moment.
Okay.
So Peter Dinklage, he wakes up from comatose in the hospital, and he has, some heart-to-heart with, like, basically this FBI lady or whatever it is, and, like, government lady who's, like, basically, we're not, basically, we're going to downplay the fact you're fine in terms of legality. You're fine. We've been after that, the organization for a while and this and that. And so he has like like his son, comes in and stuff like that and this and that. And like, but he's still despondent because like, well, yeah, I'm great. I'm not gonna go to jail or anything. And like the son's very much like, I'm like, yeah, you're not a murderer. You just killed that guy in self-defense. You didn't kill anybody else, did you? And he's like, but then, like, he was like, well, yeah, for like, 2 months until I die or whatever. And then you pan over, and the doctor's been sitting there eating a fucking sub sandwich the whole time.
And then Peter Dinklage's reaction was like, holy shit!
Yeah.
He's like, why didn't you say anything?
And like, the doctor was like, yeah, no, I just figured I'd come in here and eat my lunch. And he reveals again that the got healed by his toxic thing. So his brain's fine, and so he's not going to turn back into Peter Dinklage. But no, he's good. He can continue raising his son, his stepson, and he sees his stepson perform in the thing and not have COVID. But yeah, it was a really... And so that's how the movie ends.
Yes.
And so... time to qualify as a diamond or a dud. So we have diamonds, legitimately good movies. Can range from like 0 to 5, 0, 1 being like, it was fine, but I'm not going to revisit it. It was, whereas 5 being, okay, this is one of my all-time favorites. Dud, it's a bad movie, but again, within that scale, it's just painfully bad. There's no redemption. To like guilty pleasure, it has a few good moments. I could watch it every once in a while, and so that's kind of the scale. Where do you lie?
And I'll say, as crazy as it sounds from how we're talking, I struggled with where to put this.
Yeah.
Because part of me was wondering if this is not the definition of a dud 5. But I ended up going diamond because I just fell on the fact that this was too good of a movie to throw onto the dud side.
Yeah.
And so I put it as a diamond 4.5.
Yeah, I have a diamond too. This is just well made. This is what it wanted to be, and it just hit the marks. I have it just a little lower. I have a diamond as 4. It's a really, really good movie, and it's a lot of fun. It's a fun movie.
Yeah. And so what are we doing next time?
So next time, we thought... we go back into the Wayback Vault of our childhood. This is a movie that we have both seen because there's going to be a new version coming out soon. There's a new version of Masters of the Universe, He-Man, coming out. So, in honor of it, we're going to go revisit that late 1980s version of Masters of the Universe starring Dolph Lundgren and see kind of what we think.
My assumption is that since I loved this as a kid, I'm going to love it now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's like I was a He-Man fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no reason. There's no way that a movie watching a movie based as a kid based off what you love could totally kill part of
Dolph Lundgren can do no wrong.
That's right.
He's
a rocket scientist.
Yeah.
Legitimately.
Yeah.
He's literally a rocket scientist. He's really smart. But yeah, so that's what we're going to do next time. Masters of the Universe.
Masters of the Universe. Like, comment, subscribe. All the stuff we're supposed to say. And we will see everybody in the next one.
Have a week.